Hello viewers, I hope you have understand our previous lecture which contained the chemical properties of noble gases, the cause of inertness, their applications. In this lecture, we have discussed the chemical properties of xenon compounds, the structure and bonding of xenon compounds, and the few recently synthesized xenon compounds, the applications of xenon compounds, and the future scope in the field of xenon compounds. Now, we will discuss the chemistry of xenon. The xenon is a very large noble gas compound, a noble gas, and therefore it has a low ionization energy due to their larger size, because the electron cloud around the xenon nucleus is something away from the nucleus. It forms the fluorides, oxides and oxyfluorides. In previous lecture, we can explain why the more electronegative atoms like platinum hexafluoride are reacts with the noble gases. Similarly, in these xenon compounds, the fluorides and oxides, the oxygen and fluorine having more electronegativity, and hence it able to react with the xenon. We will start the fluorides of xenon. We will discuss the types, preparation, properties and structure of bonding of various types of fluorides of xenon. The first compound of xenon fluoride, that is xenon difluoride. We can prepare the xenon difluoride by photochemical reactions. The photochemical reactions are in fact the free radical reactions. We can prepare the xenon difluoride with the help of electric discharge or in the presence of catalysts like hydrogen fluoride. Similarly, we can also prepare the xenon tetrafluoride by only changing the ratio of xenon and fluoride. When we increase the pressure of fluorine gas or the percentage of fluorine gas, the probability to form xenon tetrafluoride and hexafluoride it increases. You can form the xenon tetrafluoride by changing the ratio 1:5. Similarly, we can also prepare xenon hexafluoride by changing the ratio of xenon and fluorine is 1:20 in nickel tube at 50 to 60 atmospheric pressure and 300 degrees centigrade temperature. Xenon hexafluoride can also be formed by xenon tetrafluoride in electric discharge. The properties of xenon difluoride. These are colorless crystalline solids and is soluble in polar compounds such as the boron trifluoride, boron hexafluoride, and hence similarly it is a very strong oxidizing agent. It is used to oxidize the some other compounds. It can be reacts with water to give the xenon. In these reaction, a very interesting thing is what the xenon is always try to become free. Here xenon difluoride oxidation number of xenon is what? +2, and here it is goes to 0. It is always try to get free in each and every reactions of xenon fluoride, xenon oxides and oxyfluorides. Here another reaction, we know it reacts with iodine to make it iodine fluoride, and xenon becomes free here also. It means that the oxidation number of xenon is here +2 and here 0, and iodine is 0 to minus. It means that it reduces. Another compound is what? Xenon tetrafluoride. It is also a colorless crystalline solid. Another compound is xenon tetrafluoride, which can also be react with water in same way to give a xenon trioxide. Similarly, xenon hexafluoride, it is also a colorless crystalline solid and it can also react with the xenon hydrogen fluoride to give a ionic type structure. It is a very interesting compound because the xenon hexafluoride, it contains 8 electron from the xenon and rather 6 electron from the fluorine. It means that total 14 electron which is excess electron, and when the one fluorine atom is take the electron from that compound, the extra electron from that compound, it becomes more relaxed compound, that is xenon pentafluoride with +1 charge. and therefore such type of reactions occur, and the solution, the mixture can conduct the electricity due to such ionic compound. Next, we can also give the reaction of the xenon hexafluoride with the water molecule. The xenon trioxide is formed. Similarly, here a very important reaction, the reducing the oxidizing property of the xenon hexafluoride can be very better understand in these series of reaction, because all these hydrogen, nitrogen and HCl are now here oxidizes, and the xenon is reduces in these reactions. A very important reaction to understand the basic property of the xenon fluorides. The oxidation state of here the hydrogen involved 0 and here the +1. It means that it oxidized due to presence of xenon hexafluoride. It is the very important property of such type of compounds which can be further used for the preparation and other type of reactions. The xenon hexafluoride can also be reacts with the quartz or silica to give the xenon trioxide. Xenon trioxide in fact a very strong explosive, and hence we cannot store the xenon hexafluoride in quartz vessels. We cannot carry in quartz vessel because it forms the explosive compound, that is xenon trioxide. Now we will discuss the structure and bonding in xenon compounds. First we take the xenon difluoride. It is very interesting to understand the bonding in xenon difluoride. On the basis of molecular orbital theory, we can understand the formation of the formation of molecular orbital from the atomic orbitals. In this section, we know here we can see the one orbital of the fluorine and one orbital of the another fluorine overlap with the one orbital of xenon. That is, total 3 orbitals are involved in the formation of the bond. You can understand the compound, the better overlap only form in D-infinitive asymmetry. D-infinitive asymmetry, it means that the linear symmetry, because the 2 fluorine atom can be separated maximum by 180 degree. Hence, the px orbital of the xenon in fact involved in the bonding, and the orbital px, py or pz, any orbital of the fluorine can be involved in the formation of molecular orbital with that compound. There is a very interesting to understand here. The xenon atom have +1 oxidation state, and both fluorine have only 0.5 minus. It means that the oxidation number is not completely -1 but 0.5. It means that the half, because there is sharing of electron of xenon only, not the fluorine here. You can make clear here 8 electrons of the xenon is here distributed, and the 7 electrons of the fluorine is only distributed in the fluorine atom, not goes to involve in the sharing with the xenon atom. You can understand the such type of bonding with the help of molecular orbital diagram. I previously discussed the number of molecular orbitals formed after the combination of atomic orbitals are same. We previously discussed the 3 atomic orbitals are involved in the formation of molecular orbital. It means that the number of molecular orbitals first will also be 3. Here we can see the 2 electrons in bonding molecular orbital is thus coming from the xenon, and other 2 electrons which coming from the fluorine is in fact the basic orbital of fluorine also, and here the electron in bonding molecular orbital are in fact coming from the xenon, and here an anti-bonding molecular orbital which is empty. The 1 electron bond can be better understood by ionizing the xenon difluoride. After ionization, we know the F- fluoride ion is removed and the compound becomes xenon monofluoride, okay, and it is the ionic compound. You can see here the two electrons are here consolidated between the fluorine and xenon. It indicates that the bonds becomes very strong or shorter or stronger than the previous compound, that is xenon difluoride, because in xenon difluoride there is one electron sharing between the xenon and fluoride. Here the two electrons in between the xenon and fluoride, which make the bond more stronger. Bonding in xenon fluoride. Now we can discuss the bonding. How can we understand the bonding in xenon fluoride? You can see this slide. What happens? First of all, we can understand the molecular orbital theory or valence bond theory. According to valence bond theory, it is necessary condition to form a bond that the atoms involved in bonding must have the unpaired electron. The unpaired electron and sharing and mutual neutralization must be occur for formation of bond. You know that in ground state there is no any unpaired electron in xenon, and hence it is unreactive or it cannot form the bond with other molecule. When it come in contact with the fluorine atom, what happens? It get excited, and one electron, you can see here again, how can electron excited from the p orbital, 5p orbital, and goes to d orbital. There is a rotation of the spin also, because the minus half spin is converted into plus half spin for the giving the maximum stability of the excited state according to Pauling principle. Now you can see the hybridization of these orbitals, and when we find the unpaired electron here and here, we can form the two bonds, two sigma bonds with the fluorine atom. Now we can calculate the what type of structure is formed after the such type of bonding. You know, according to VSEPR theory, xenon atom contribute 8 electrons and two fluorine atoms contribute 2 electrons. There is total 10 electrons in the valence shell of xenon difluoride. It means that 5 pairs may be formed. These 5 pairs can be distributed. What type of hybridization? That is sp3d type hybridization. You know, sp3d type hybridization, it means that the electron pair distribution is what type? Trigonal bipyramidal type. But the structure is not trigonal bipyramidal, because there is only 2 bond pairs, because xenon is bonded with only 2 fluorine atom, and rest of the electron pair are converted into the lone pair electron, and hence the structure is linear. You can see here the 3 lone pair electrons are here and 2 bond pair electrons are here. That is, the 3 lone pair electrons are rest behind here and the 2 bonds are here. That is, sigma bonds are formed in xenon difluoride. Similarly, we can understand the structure and bonding of xenon tetrafluoride. You can understand that to prepare the xenon tetrafluoride, we require the 4 orbitals, because there is a 4 fluorine atom and which can be bonded with the xenon. We require the 4 orbitals having unpaired electrons. We can achieve that by exciting the 2 electrons from the p orbital to d orbital here also. And similarly, like xenon difluoride, here also form 4 sigma bonds in xenon tetrafluoride. Now what type of structure is formed? It can be derived with the help of VSEPR theory. Again, xenon contribute 8 electrons, 4 fluorine, 4 electron, total 12 electrons, which can make the 6 pair, and out of these 6 pair, the 4 are bond pair and 2 are lone pair. The hybridization involved is what type? That is sp3d2, that is 1s3p and 2 d orbitals are mixed to give the sp3d2 hybridization. The electron pair distribution in sp3d2 hybridization is what? That is the octahedral type distribution, but the geometry is not octahedral because there is only bond pair. You should always clear it. That is, the geometry and electron pair distribution are very much different from each other. Only bond pair are considered to decide the geometry. Here the 6 pair but only 4 bond pairs. You can see the geometry is what type? That is square planar. The 2 lone pair are above and below the plane, that is square planar. Here the 4 atoms are formed. Similarly, we can discuss the structure and bonding in xenon hexafluoride. Again, we required 6 orbitals for forming the bond with 6 fluorine atom. You can make clear here that is a 3 electron excited to create a 6 unpaired electrons, and 6 fluorine atoms are form the sigma bond with that. Again we will discuss the structure of the xenon hexafluoride. Again we take the help of VSEPR theory. Again there is 14 electron, 8 electron from xenon and 6 electron from the fluorine, that is total 14 electron, that is the number of electron pair is 7, that is sp3d3 type. sp3d3 type hybridization and O6 bond pair and 1 lone pair. You can see clearly here this structure is not complete octahedral because the lone pair interaction make them distorted. There is no complete 180-degree bond angle between that and that fluoride atom, that is axial fluoride atoms. Okay, there is the something repulsion from the lone pair to that fluoride and lone pair to that fluoride, and therefore it is called distorted octahedral compound. Now we will start the chemistry of xenon by oxides of xenon. What types of oxides are formed, how can we prepare it, and their properties and structure and bonding. Now the types of oxides. Xenon can form xenon trioxide and xenon tetroxide. Xenon monoxide is also found, but it is not very stable compound, therefore that compound is not discussed here. We can prepare xenon trioxide previously in chemical properties of xenon fluoride. We know that after reaction of the water they give the xenon trioxide. Similarly we can form xenon tetroxide by sodium perxenate. It is an important compound. Sodium perxenate and barium perxenate is used to prepare the xenon tetroxide. Now properties of xenon trioxide. It is also colorless and hygroscopic in nature. It is solid and it can also be react the water molecule to give a ionic type of compound, and hence it behaves as a weak acid because it make free H plus. Similarly another reaction we can discuss here, the xenon trioxide can react with the potassium iodide, and another reaction with xenon tetroxide we can discuss. It is the great oxidizing agent. Now we will discuss the structure and bonding of xenon trioxide. There is a basic difference between the fluorides and oxide is what? Because there is only sigma bonds is formed in xenon fluorides, but here we should prepare the sigma as well as pi bond. We know that hybrid orbitals are always involved in sigma bonding or may contain lone pair electron, but they never involve in pi bonding. It means that we should have unhybrid orbital, few unhybrid orbitals for preparation of pi bonds also. Here there is 3 oxygen atom. It means that it forms 3 sigma bond and 3 pi bonds. To prepare 6 bond we have to make 6 orbital with unpaired electron. Here the 6 orbitals are unpaired electron after exciting the 3 electrons from here, but hybridization involve only 3 because 3 sigma bonds are required to prepare the xenon trifluoride, and 3 unhybrid orbitals contain unpaired electron to form the pi bonds. Make it clear here, there is 2 unpaired electron in each oxygen atom. 1 electron formed with the sigma bond with the hybrid orbitals and another electron form pi bond with unhybrid orbital. It is necessary, always necessary to make clear that is pi bond should always involve unhybrid orbitals. And another oxygen atom, you know, that is the sigma bond is formed with hybrid orbitals and pi bond is formed with unhybrid orbitals. Another third oxygen atom here, the sigma bond is formed with the hybrid and another orbital. Now what type of structure is formed after the bonding of that molecule? We again take the help of VSEPR theory. We know there's multi-bonded atoms like oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen having no any contribution in the valence shell according to VSEPR theory. To calculate the geometry, to deduce the geometry, there is no any contribution. It means that there is 8 electrons in the xenon atom and the total 8 electrons, because 3 oxygen atoms there is no any contribution, the pair is 4 and hybridization involved is what? sp3 3. In each and every xenon oxide, there is total number of electron in valence shell is always 8 and the pair is 4. It means that it always involves sp3 hybridization. In sp3 hybridization, we know that 3 bond pairs and 1 lone pair, that is a pyramidal type of structure. We can compare this structure with ammonia. Okay, sp3 hybridization is also occur in ammonia molecule and 1 lone pair electron and give the pyramidal type of structure here. The next oxide is what? Xenon tetraoxide. You know, there is 4 bond sigma and 4 bond pi is required to prepare the xenon tetraoxide. It means that total 8 unpaired electrons are required, which can achieved by exciting all 4 electrons to make them unpaired. Now again, we know that there is only 4 sigma bonds is required here. It means that the hybridization involves sp3 and 4 unhybrid orbitals are remain to make the pi bond. Here also 4 oxygen atom form sigma bond, pi bond, similar to that of xenon trioxide. Now structure can be deduced with the help of the VSEPR theory. You know that the 8 electrons is contributed from the xenon and no any electron is contributed from the every 4 oxygen atom, and therefore it gives the sp3 hybridization. All 4 pair are involved in bonding, that is the 4 bond pair electrons and 0 lone pair electron. It gives the structure what? That is the tetrahedral type of structure. Now we will discuss the chemistry of xenon with the help of oxyfluorides of xenon. Oxyfluorides of xenon, it means that oxygen and fluorine both are involved in the compound. We will discuss the types, preparation, properties and structure and bonding. The first oxyfluoride we know that is xenon oxy difluoride, xenon dioxy difluoride, xenon oxy tetrafluoride. Here xenon oxy difluoride, it can be prepared by controlled hydrolysis, because if we freely hydrolyze the xenon tetrafluoride, it may be converted into complete oxide. Therefore it can be controlled hydrolysis is required to give the xenon oxyfluoride. Now xenon dioxy difluoride, it can also be prepared by mixing the xenon trioxide and xenon oxyfluoride. Here we can prepare. Again we can also prepare the xenon dioxy difluoride with the help of controlled hydrolysis. We can prepare xenon oxy tetrafluoride with the help of also controlled hydrolysis with the xenon hexafluoride. Xenon oxy tetrafluoride can also be prepared by silica, and the properties of xenon oxy difluoride, it is not very stable compound, it is colorless solid, and it can also react with water molecule to give the xenon trioxide. And simply again the properties of xenon oxy tetrafluoride, it can also be react with water molecules to give the xenon trioxide. The xenon oxy tetrafluoride, it can react with the hydrogen molecule to make the xenon free, and it can also react with the silica to give the xenon dioxy difluoride molecule. Xenon oxy tetrafluoride can further react to give the xenon trioxide. Now the structure of the xenon oxy difluoride can be determined with the help of VSEPR theory. Again we know that there is 2 fluorine atom which contribute 2 electrons here, and the 8 electrons are contributed by xenon atom. It makes the 5 electron pair. Therefore the hybridization involved is sp3 d type. It is clear that is only 3 bond pair electrons and 2 lone pair electrons. It make the geometry T-shaped geometry. You know, the oxygen molecule or the pi bonded molecule always goes to equatorial position in case of trigonal bipyramidal distribution of electron pair, and the highly double bonded molecule goes to axial position in case of octahedral type of distribution. Here the electron pair distribution is what type? Trigonal bipyramidal, and hence the oxygen molecule always goes to equatorial position, not the axial position. Now the structure of xenon dioxy difluoride, you know there is 2 pi bonds are required for the 2 oxygen molecule and 2 sigma bonds are required for the fluorine atom. It means that total number of bonds should be required to form the xenon dioxide is equal to what type? The 6 bond. Okay, and therefore the hybridization involve escaping the 2 orbitals here for preparation of pi bond with the 2 oxygen atom. Escaping the 2 orbitals here for preparation of the 2 orbitals, and it make clear that is the 4 sigma bonds is formed from each atom and 1 pi bond involves the unhybrid orbital. The structure can be again determined with the help of VSEPR theory. You know that the total number of electrons in that compound is 8 plus 2, that is 10, and the pair is 5. It means that, but there is a one lone pair electron in that. It gives the seesaw type of structure here. You can see the 10 electron pair are distributed in which type? Trigonal bipyramidal, but there is a one lone pair electron which make them not complete trigonal bipyramidal, but structure is seesaw type. You can better understand the structure of seesaw type like that. You know, the seesaw structure here. Again, we can discuss the structure and bonding in xenon oxide tetrafluoride. You know, there is only 1 pi bond is required for the 1 oxygen atom. It means that the unhybrid orbital should be only 1 in that compound, and hence the structure of the molecule can again be understood with the help of VSEPR theory. The total number of electrons in that compound is 12, but there is only 5 bond pair electrons and 1 lone pair electron. Such compound gives the square pyramidal type structure. It is clear from here that is the oxygen molecule always goes to axial position in case of octahedral distribution, while oxygen molecule goes to equatorial position in case of trigonal bipyramidal geometry, as we previously discussed. Now we will discuss some special compounds which are recently synthesized. It is not the very important for your course or point of view, but it is necessary to know how the recent compound can be synthesized. You know, the compound synthesized with the xenon, latest compound is what type? That is xenon difluoride with vanadium pentafluoride. You know, you can better understand the compound with the given structure. What happens here? You know, xenon difluoride is here. Xenon difluoride we previously synthesized is here. What happens? One fluorine atom goes to antimony atom. Okay, and therefore xenon monofluoride cation is here, which acting as a ligand and joined with the fluorine atom here. Again, in that compound we can also see what type of structure? Xenon difluoride with the arsenic. So what happens here? Xenon monofluoride in plus oxidation state and arsenic hexafluoride in minus oxidation state, and the compound is formed like ionic type compound. Similarly, a very recent compound is here synthesized with the help of, you can see the benzene molecule is here, that is C6H6, and one fluorine atom is here. Here is a xenon atom, and here is also a xenon atom. Here the arsenic surrounded by the fluorine atom. Now we discuss the applications of xenon compounds. You know, the xenon trioxide is very explosive, and therefore it is used for the explosion and rocket propellant, because after the burning, after the explosion, they have no any solid residue. Another very important application of xenon compound is what? It is used as a fluoride source. It is very important sequence of the xenon fluoride is what? Xenon hexafluoride is most fluorinating agent and xenon tetrafluoride is least fluorinating agent. We know that the maximum number of fluoride atom have xenon hexafluoride and minimum number of fluoride have xenon difluoride, but it is the more fluorinating in comparison to xenon tetrafluoride. It is very interesting to understand for the future scope, because you know the structure of xenon difluoride is something trigonal bipyramidal distribution of electron pair, therefore less stable in comparison to symmetrical distribution of square planar structure of xenon tetrafluoride. Simply we can another application like you can use in phototherapy, we can use the compound xenon difluoride for fluorinating the uracil to give 5-fluorouracil. It is the first anti-tumor agent which can be prepared with the help of compounds of xenon. The rubber-like structure of polymer is also formed with the help of xenon. Now we will discuss the future scope. What types of scope is possible in the noble gas compounds? We previously discussed the oxidizing property of the xenon compounds. They are very strong oxidizing agent. We can use such type of noble gas compound as a activator, as the catalyst in oxidizing reactions. Now for proton affinities we can investigate. There is a very sharp investigations are occur nowadays for the proton affinities, and another a very sharp application for the future is what fluorinating property. We can increase the fluorinating properties and form various fluoride compounds with the help of xenon compound. So viewers, I hope you enjoy the whole unit of the noble gas compounds. In this unit you understand how the noble gas make reactive, what type of compound are formed with the noble gases, what type of bonding and structure of the noble gases, how the oxygen and fluorine behaves in different way to form the bonds, and some future scopes in the noble gas compounds.